Hello YouTube, hello Red App, welcome to the day 19 preview here on live on Twitch. And by the way, you can follow me here on Twitch on Parker the Sports CBT on here on Twitch. Welcome in and welcome to day 19, the preview. And we'll also break down a lot of what happened on the last stream of Hoopland. And we'll break this thing down because, like I said, we got some games to cover. We're going to start doing the scores first. We'll start doing the scores first, and then we'll do the results, and then we'll talk about entry report, and then we'll get into day 19. For starters, let's talk about the Senchi-Con Sogo Academy. This game was really kind of one-sided, and your player of the game is Rokuro Harai. This dude is a really good player. Don't get me wrong. He's a dude who we'll keep an eye on. 14 points, 2 3-pointers, 1 rebound, 1 assist. This dude is also pretty much a really good player to be part of this team. And Senchi-Con is definitely one of those teams that's actually on the race to the playoffs. They're right now. Actually, we'll get into the standings a little bit, but this team has actually been really, really good. They have held on the lead for most of the entire game, and I think that's one of the things about Sogo Academy that they have completely lacked. Was completely basically dealing with the challenge of basically dealing with a lot of the basically completely dealing with basically the problem is for Sogo Academies, they'll always be behind. I feel like Sogo Academy is going to be going through a rebuild at this point. They're one of those teams that are going to be needing to be a rebuild some way or another this offseason. So we'll see where things go, right? Next up, Shamarko High. Shamarko High, this team has been this team has been doing really, really good. They pulled off an upset against, man, I am surprised that they pulled off an upset against Rakuten High when I was doing the commentating. I mean, they have done very well done. Their player of the game is Kento Matsumoto, 27 points, 7 3-pointers, 1 assist, 1 steal. This dude was a beast. And this team, I think Shamarko High, if they rely on him a lot. If they rely on him enough, they'll probably get into the playoffs, no problem. And this team upset it, number 1 in the country of Japan from day 18. And by the way, day 19 will be on Thursday. It will be on Thursday here. Retro Bowl will be tomorrow. So keep an eye on that. Also, Animal Crossing will be live on Tuesday. So keep an eye on those 2 games because and also Retro Goal will be on Wednesday, and New Star Soccer will be on Wednesday. So Michael Enchilada Day will be on Wednesday. Will be mostly be a short morning stream, but we'll see what I can do, right? But yeah, but anyway, but yeah. Shamarko High has been pretty much, they did really good controlling that ball and they keep controlling the lead. And their largest lead was about 18 points, which is pretty good. When it comes to, I just think in general, I mean, this upset was pretty much a big deal because they defeated the number 2. Now the new number 1 in the country, Renown High, defeated Shotoku High by about 15 points. This team was a really good team. Don't get me wrong. This team has done very well. 15-3. They have been really, really good. They have and also, by the way, their player of the game is Kei Hashimoto. 8 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 blocks. This team has been doing really, really good at handling. I mean, like, they have done very, very well the past several days. And we'll talk about all the teams, how far they came, all that jazz, because we'll really get into that jazz in a little bit. Especially we're knowing High about how much they've struggled, because they have definitely kind of struggled in there this season. But I think in general, this team, Renown High, is looking like a championship caliber team, and we'll see how they can do in the road to the playoffs. We're about another 7 more days. We're about a week away till the road to Japan Madness. Here on Twitch and on YouTube. Which will be there once we get the playoffs. Now, next up, Nakamiya defeated Yoshino High 60-51. This team had pulled off all the stops in this game. I mean, I gotta say, this team, I mean, they have done very well. I mean, yes, the rebounds, offensive rebounds, the assists, especially offensive rebounds and assists, have been their biggest struggle this season. But they at least try to hang on with the big boy, Yoshihai. And they definitely, I mean, yeah, the turnovers were kind of been even, right? And on the advanced side, the bench points definitely, I will definitely will say the bench points. If your team won because of bench points, that should say that you've done a lot of good substitutions, so they made a lot of good decisions with your substitutes. But and also, you definitely hold in the largest lead, which was 16 points for 14 minutes and 16 seconds, which is not that bad. Now, yes, the time of possession was not your favorite part of the game, but still, I think Nakamiya did a really good job. Your player of the game is Shinagawa Kazuma. I mean, 16 points, one 3-pointer, one block, 3 rebounds. I do want to check and make sure if I did check. Um, no, yeah, by the way, this game, yeah, that's Makina Matsumoto. And then, yep, here you go. Yep, I did. I want to make sure I've been looking at all the players against as well, so you all actually get to know which ones are which. So, but yeah, that was 60-51 your final, with a huge upset against number 4. Meanwhile, Seto High survives against a Shihoku High, number 15 in the country. This team, I gotta say, Seto High has been doing really good this season. They have the first half looked like a pretty much a tight window game, but a tight basketball game, tight basketball game, but still, I think just for a 4 point difference, I still think it looks really, really good. I still think Seto High did a really good job holding on and just hanging on to that lead. I think that's what you always should do, right? Especially when you're a basketball team like Seto High, we're on the road to the playoffs and potentially going to the Elite Eight. So, but which we'll see. So far so good for this team. Seto High. The only reason why I think they have won was offensive rebounds, right? Rebounds, blocks. I mean, the turnover game was not their biggest strength. But the second chance points helped them out a lot, and then dunks, bench points, largest run, largest lead, time of lead, and time of possession. I think that's what made the entire difference of this entire game. I think that's what made the entire difference of that entire game was just the time of lead and just holding on to the ball, how much you can survive, right? So, and your part of the game with this one is Takeya Hashimoto, 12 points, 2 3-pointers, 7 rebounders, and 1 assist. Definitely a dude to keep an eye on. And when we get to the playoffs, this dude is a guy who I will always say when I commentated this game since earlier this year, I will say this team has been Saito team has been a team that have been working their tails off to earn their spot. So, next game, we got Shinkyo Academy surviving against Daiji High with an 8 point difference game, with an 8 point game. And basically they won with 8 points. And this team, I will definitely say Shinkyo High. And by the way, your player of the game is Royal Yamasaki. He's actually did really good. 5 for 6, 13 points, 3 3-pointers, and 5 rebounds. And then for team stats, right? This team, Shinkyo Academy, um, did a lot of rebound differences. Three rebounds, 3 rebounds more than their offense than Daiichi High. And then they have 14 assists, 3 steals, 4 blocks, and 2 turnovers for Daiichi High. Um, and then meanwhile, Shinkyo Academy, 8th for the largest lead. And then for team, I mean, the team lead and the team possession was pretty much the biggest game difference, especially time of possession. I think that's what really kind of helped this team a lot was the points off the paint, the second chance points, the points off the turnovers. But in the largest lead and time of possession, yeah, it's going to be a lot. So there you go with that one. Next up, kind of a shocker. Tokyo 2 survives and beats Seren High 68-55, and your player of the game is Kochi Yamada, 11.5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block. This was probably, I will definitely say, this is probably one of those games I gotta go back real quick. This is probably one of those games where it was just, yeah, there's no turnovers for what they dealt with, no turnovers, and the advance was just all in their favor. This was an example of just pure dominance on the paint and off the paint. They were really good, and yeah, they made a lot more field goals. They have made a lot more 3-pointers. 7 for 19. Not a. It's a. I know it's still miss a lot, but still, definitely a team that could next year, if they do not go to the playoffs this year, they're looking out. They were looking in the playoffs, but they're looking out, right, and they're out of the playoffs early. I would definitely will say that Tokyo 2 next year will be probably one of the best team rebuilds I would probably will see going forward. And then finally, I do want to make sure. I want to make sure I am going up and down. Make sure these are right. Right. Okay. Sano I beats Kurusu High 54-33 your final. And I will definitely say your player of the game is Echi Sawakita, which Sawakita, man, very good player. Definitely a guy who I think should deserve a start next season if he is a. I'll have to look. Let me look and see what his see what he is. Was it Kawada, right? No, not Kawada. What's his name? Yeah, Sawakita. Yep. Let me look at your box score. Let me see how we are. Oh, you're a sophomore. Yeah, he's gonna start, and I think he's definitely gonna be a dude who will be. He will definitely be a big deal coming off into the playoffs. That we'll see. We'll see if he does start, and we'll see if he does because some teams will have that thing where like, oh yeah, we're gonna bring in all the seniors when some of the seniors are not playing or some of the seniors are not even performing well and they have to bring in backups. You know what I mean? So yeah, Sano High, as a team, I just think in general they're looking really good. They did a lot. They did a lot more better than earlier this season. They had been I feel like said I did a really good has been doing a really good job being consistent with how they're winning and not looking behind and like just regressing, right? Or they're like out of nowhere regressing to the game. So but yeah, you're better of the game. There you go. You're welcome to read it. I mean, 7 for 9, by the way. Definitely a guy to keep an eye on in the pros, and definitely a guy we'll see in the playoffs. Here are all your games for day 19. You're welcome to look into them. I'm going and just kind of scroll them a little bit down. Yes, Senoi number 13 will face Sogo Academy, which Sogo is will be at home. And they're 1-8 at home, but still, I still think Senoi is going to win this one. And like I said, if they win their next 3 days, if Senoi wins their next 3 games, I will definitely say they can pretty much. If they go back 500, that would be great because now they actually can be a playoff contender, and they just need to finish this thing off. They just need to finish this thing off, lock in, and just win this thing, right? Next up, Rakuten. After that huge upset, has another big test. It's against the Tokyo Jose High. This team, I'll just show you the preview. This team is a really good team. Do not get me wrong. I mean, also, by the way, this is Saito is still injured. He's injured for one more game. He'll be back after this game. After this game, he'll be back. Jose High is a really good team. Do not underestimate them because they have basically. I'm going to show you their schedule the past several days. Yes, they have lost some games. Like I mean, they got upset by Shotoku, right? They lost to Sentikon, right? But at the same time, Daichi High 45-35. They beat some of the best teams out there. It's no joke. And if they beat the number 2 and the number 1 in the next 2 days, I am going to lose my mind. It is going to be absolute a brain melt for me because I'm going to be so confused. How in the world would the number 2, number 1 will lose a team like Jose High? But that is a big one. That is your prime time game of the week, game of on Thursday or Friday. Kaijo High and Renault and I, the number 1, the number 10, the number 1. These two face each other. And Renown beat last time by 10 points, 77-67. But now the rematch, and I gotta say, Kaicho's looks like a team that's pretty good defensively. I'm gonna give them that much. I'll give them that credit. This team looks like a team that you don't mess around with. I mean, no injuries. This team, you know, what I mean. And like I said, this team is had struggles around mid-season. On games 12 to 14, they have lost either by 10 points or more. Sometimes they'll lose by like underscore 5 points, right? But then they would win by 16 points, right? Their last loss was 49-17, which was their worst game performance I have ever seen, ever. Which, by the way, if we do the math, that's like 28 points. This team, Kaicho High, was not the same as it once was. But now here they are. They are now back in winning ways after kind of a 4-game loss in the last 5 games. They have basically are back in the fray with 23 points. I mean, they beat this. Sorry, not 27 points. They have beat them by 23. Sorry, I had to make that correction. So yeah, now this is their biggest test, and like I said, if Kaishua can beat actually one of their worst teams in the league, how much will that help them when they face the Ronin at their home field? That's gonna be the biggest challenge. Oh boy, that's gonna be the biggest challenge. Next up, Senchikan High and Shohoku High. Now, Shohoku High is actually a struggle team. They're 0-5 at home. They're hoping for a big upset here today at home facing Senchikan High. And if Senchikan High loses, a lot of people are speculating how much does that mean in the playoffs, right? So, we'll see how much that we considered. Now Shotokuai will be hosting the 11-7, facing the 7-9 Nakamiya South High. These two teams are probably some of the best teams out there. And like I said, do not underestimate Nakamiya. This team has pulled off some of the biggest wins, but some of the biggest upsets so far in their season. Like I said, do not count them out yet. Do not count them out. There may be out of the top 10 pitcher, but do not ever underestimate teams that are really good at least pulling off shockers. You know what I mean? I mean, that's just how I feel, right? And then you got Shimarko High at home facing against Kurisu High, which will definitely be a very big. I mean, I will probably say this is probably gonna be an honest. I'm definitely for sure. So definitely keep an eye on what the finish slope's gonna look like, right? Um, And then the final two games. Senoi, after a huge win, they're packing their bags to Tokyo 2. Which this team, man, I gotta say, these two teams, I mean, we'll probably put this as the game of day 19. These two face each other before 16-point different finish. Will definitely be a big game for the week, because, like I said, it's gonna come down to you know what I mean? Like I said, we'll see how that comes into play, right? We'll see how these things come into play, right? So we'll see how much. And then to basically, this one's gonna be a sim as well. It is Daiichi High and Saren High. The number 14 and number 16. These two are some of the worst teams ever. Um, Now, Sarah and I has been doing, and actually, this was an upset. Actually, yeah, this was an upset. And earlier this season, earlier in the year, Saren, man, I gotta say, this team pulled off some of the biggest upsets ever. And Daiichi High, I gotta say, this team is gonna, like I said, if Saren and I pulls up an upset against Daiichi High, they're out of the playoffs. They're done. Yeah, they're done. And like I said, Yamada is still injured. And by the way, Yamada, if you are curious, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about one of the injuries here. Um, is a repaired knee. Takeo Yamada is gonna be out for another 5 games. But we're gonna see how much does that change a lot, right? We'll see how much that means for the players and all that does stuff. But anyway, here are the okay. I'm going to give you the injury report. Um, Shinkiro Academy, Takahashi Shimizu, He's still dealing with a strained Achilles for 2 games. We'll see how much that would be an impact, right, for 2 more days. And then Reckerson High, MCL injury. He still has a straight MCL for 1 more game. So we'll see how much that will be. You know what I mean? We'll see how much that goes. But that's all Nakamura. Nakamura is actually fully healed. Takeo Yamadai, he's still in a repaired knee. So we'll see how much that comes into play. Yeah, Yakuchi's still recovered. Yeah, actually Atsubo, it will be in his last game in the bench for a repaired Achilles. So like I said, 3 injuries already in that injury report. Already covered. You have the injury report, already covered a lot of the other stuff. But now the rankings time. Now, let's talk about this real quick. We're going to go start with, instead of the top 25, right here are your top 25, aka your top 18 in the country. But I mostly call it the top 10 because these are your top 10 big guys who are wanting to earn their spot in the playoffs. And like I said, we'll see how much it means a lot to them, some of these teams, in the next layer of this season. And the Tokyo West, it looks like a very tight conference. The only teams that I would definitely say to keep an eye on Shinkyo and Senchikon Academy. Sayo Academy would definitely be a team. I mean, Sayo Academy, man, I gotta say, Sayo Academy is definitely going to be a team that will definitely deserve to be in the playoffs. If they can actually start, if they start facing Senchikon Shinkyo Academy, I think they will be. Let me look and see. Their next, yeah, Tokyo 2. Okay, yeah, game 21. In game 22, I think. Let me look. Senkyu Academy. Saren High. I do want to look at this real quick. Saito High real quick, right? Yeah. So yeah, this team does not face a team anymore, which is, I mean, that's weird. You would think that they will have to deal with, I don't know. But anyway, but yeah, that is it for that for the Tokyo West. I mean, like I said, I think the Shinkyo Academy definitely I mean, like I said, some of these teams, I feel like some of these teams are going to be getting at least 1 more game or 2 more games of their conference, so we'll see. It means a lot, but anyway. But the Tokyo East, the Tokyo High, they're on a roll. It looks like Jose High and Daiichi High, they're still in the race to gain themselves back in the fray. Hopefully that will mean, hopefully that will be soon, right? Hopefully that will be, um, something to keep an eye on, right? So, but yeah, this is your East. And so far, like I said, Shotoku High is definitely a team where definitely keep an eye on. And Kanagawa. So in the Kanagawa division, it looks like a very shocker. The number 1 is still on the number 2 spot. And like I said, if Marco High wins their next conference game, I think that will be, which is by the way nuts. I still think that which means they could still, which by the way can still mean they'll be going to the playoffs one way or another. So who knows? And the Rexon High, after that huge upset, still doesn't change them. You know what I mean? After losing 2 straight games against 2 good teams, Rexon High is still a team to beat. And like I said, the only question now is, will Rexon then basically have enough in their sleeves when it comes to all that? So, but anyway, but yeah, top 25, that is all it. And don't forget, on Thursday we'll be doing this. So on Thursday, we'll be doing this Hoopland stuff. Day 19, y'all. About another 7 more days of this, and we'll be good. Thank you all for coming in. Don't forget to like, comment, and follow on the YouTube side, and also follow me here on Twitch. Actually, yes, and thank you all for coming in, and I hope you all have an awesome day. Bye.